Okay, so in the IT space, in the consumer electronics space, the big talk is skip. And honestly, skip applies to just about every industry there is. So automotive, medical, anybody who's placing articles on the market within the EU is subject to this requirement. And basically what it is once we have an SV8C present in our product that we need to declare, in the old days we could just say, okay, I'm just going to let my professional customers know that the SV8C is there. For example, I have DEHP or I have lead in this product over the threshold in an article within this SVHC, and I've met my Article 33 obligations. So we've simply provided maybe a full material declaration and or some kind of SVHC document. Now that document is going to have to contain more information because my customers not only need the name of the SVHC from me, but they need to know how much is there. They need to know the concentration because they have to enter that in the database as a range. Okay. They also need to know the category of the mixture of material that contains the SVHC. So if the SVHC is in a solder, they need to know that. If it's in an alloy, they need to know the type of alloy. For example, if it's in a brominated adhesive, is it a buffered or unbuffered brominated adhesive? These are the kind of categories that is expected for us to enter into the database. We also need to categorize the article containing the SVHC. So for example, if I have an IC and within that is a lead frame that contains an SVHC, then the lead frame is an article. I need to figure out how to categorize that in a way that my customers can use in the SVHC skip database. Same with the unique ID. If there's a unique ID for this specific article I've implemented, I may need to provide that. And then also linking of contained articles if the component is a complex object. So if I'm providing my customer, say, an optical module, that optical module has a PCBA in it, that PCBA has an IC, that IC has a lead frame that has an SVHC present, then I need to disclose that kind of information as well. As well as now safe use information, both during use and disposal needs to be disclosed, and details on the construction article location. Basically, they want to know if it was fabricated in the EU or elsewhere. So there's a lot of information now that your customers are going to need from this perspective, and you need to be able to, and this is going to depend on the kind of components you're providing and the kind of SVHCs that are present and the kind of structures on how you're going to provide this information. Additionally, EU RoHS exemptions are expiring in 2021. It has a lot of your customers on edge. They know you're using 7A, 7C1, these kinds of exemptions to maintain compliance to the RoHS directive. Those are expiring in July 2021. They don't know. Are you submitting applications for extensions? Are you going to support compliance after this date? What's going to happen here? What is your plan? So it's very important as you're working through this plan that not only you communicate that with your customers, but you make the latest data available on your products, which ones are claiming exemptions now and which ones are not. You can't be behind on communicating that information anymore. They're very hungry for that, right? Some other things that IT and consumer electronics have recently been focusing on: California Prop 65, over 800 something substances on that list, and some of them are substance categories. And there's been a lot of information in the news about companies being called out for Prop 65 exposure. The public becomes aware that you cause cancer if anything happens here. And so it's not just the multi-million-dollar enforcement actions that are getting companies' attention, but it's the social media attention that really is. And as a result, more and more companies are coming back to their suppliers and demanding that they provide information on what Prop 65 substances are present and what the risk of exposure really is to those substances. So that information needs to be made available. Okay. And then also the POPs enforcement, because what happened is that the Persistent Organic Pollutants Directive was recast in 2019, last year, and the recast of the original directive brought it back into everybody's attention again. Enforcement agencies in Europe are taking action on non-compliant products, and we have an example of that on our blog if you want to take a look at a recent one, where a digital multimeter was pulled off the market for violating not only the POPs directive, but also the RoHS directive. So enforcement is happening, and companies are aware of that, and they're starting to put POPs on their radar. So they'll be coming to you and asking you to validate not only that your products are free from persistent and organic pollutants, but also that your processes in producing those are as well.
Learn more by viewing the full-length video online at greensoft.com/videos. Plus, learn about our environmental regulation solutions online at greensoftTech.com.